Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 129 of Build Your Stash and Craft. And today we're just going to play with gauze. Now originally I showed you this gauze that I got at the Dollar Tree. It was the only one they had. The next time I went they had this one, so I picked it up. This one was stretchy and it says stretchy right on it. This one does not say stretchy, so I thought that this was just the plain cotton. So I have taken another $1 out of the bank because I did spend it, and we will use them. So you can buy two of these, or whatever you can find. Now, originally the gauze that I had was I got at a secondhand store, and it was just a big package of gauze, and this is cotton. This does not stretch really, and it's, it's just basically white thread strings, and of course you can see through it. And I really like this because I like the way that it shreds and everything, and it's got a really nice wide weave to it, and it's just fun to play with. But they didn't have this at the Dollar Tree, and I don't really know. Maybe they make all gauze stretchy now because it makes more sense for what you use it for. So we're going to play with the stretchy ones and just kind of see what we can do with them. So what I like gauze for is it's great, and this one is a little bit stretchy, but it's nowhere near as stretchy as this one is. So, well, they're about the same. They stretch this way mostly. But the nice thing about it is, when you unroll it, it kind of looks like that. But then you can manipulate it, and you can kind of stretch it around and get this different, look at that texture. I mean, it gives great texture, and it's just fun to put on things. And what you could do with this, once you get it stretched out and you get some texture in there and everything, and you like the way it looks, you could take this and stick it on a piece of your double-sided sticky. And then it will hold that texture, and you'll be able to put some color into it. Let's see. Okay, I have a piece of this is just a piece of plain old cardstock. And I'm going to grab some of our double-sided carpet tape and my scissors. Here they are. So I'm just going to put a piece of this carpet tape on here. And so you could do this like this and then cut it out, or you could put it right on a tag, however you would want to do it. I think I'm going to put two pieces next to each other and see if I can get this almost that wide. Let's see what happens. I know it's this wide. Let's see how far we can stretch it. We can't stretch it that far, although we could use our wider one too. Let's do that. Let's use the wider one. I'll put this on here. Just so that we have a bigger piece, it'll be easier for you to see. But I overlap those a little bit, so we're going to have a bump in the middle, but can't change that once you put it down. It's sticky stuff. So I'm just going to take a piece of this, and we're going to stretch it out, put it on there. See how that does when the scissors pulled on it? And see how that it gives you that shape? I mean, it's pulled that way. If you grab the strings, you can pull on those strings and you can give it a bit of a ruffle. It's just fun to play with. And for $1, it's just a fun thing. It's a fun thing to do. And you could come up with so many unique things that nobody's going to have anything exactly like yours, which is one thing that I really like. I like making things that are mine. So I'm going to give this stretches in different places. Make it look not all the same. I don't want, all of my stretches to be the same. And there we go. Now even that is really a cool texture to put on something. But I'm going to lay this out and flatten it out. I'm going to start on that side. See if I can stretch it far enough. Yep. And then just press it down. Okay, so now we've got our double-sided sticky behind there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some glitter. And we'll just put some glitter on here. Now where all of those different size holes are, the glitter will go through and it will stick to our double-sided sticky. That's probably enough. I can rub that around. And then we'll take any excess off. And you can use it like it is. You can use it by, you can cut shapes into it. I don't think with the double-sided sticky on the back I would put it through a punch. I don't think that would work. I don't think the punch would cut through the fabric anyways, through the string. So if you want to cut something, you'd have to draw it on the back and cut it by hand, or just cut it by hand. So there we go. And that kind of looks a hot mess. But let me just grab a piece of paper here, which I had here and now I don't. Knock off the extra glitter. Okay, and now we've got this. And you may or may not like the looks of that. Now see here where it stayed very tight, really no glitter got in there. And and then you've got wider spots of glitter, smaller spots of glitter, and you can kind of adjust it how you want to. You can also use the sand. You can color your sand and rub your sand into there, because that carpet tape is going to grab whatever it touches. And then you might like the looks of just how raggedy this looks and just kind of cut around the carpet tape. I'm going to just kind of cut this out, and I'm going to cut it into a heart. Just because when I pulled out the pink, that was my thought was I would make a heart and it would have this cool texture. That's probably good enough. Let's fold it in half. And the one thing is, the carpet tape does make your scissors sticky. And you can clean that off with your rubbing alcohol. And just be careful when you clean them not to cut yourself. And there we go. Let's see what this looks like. And there we go. Now see, it looked like a real hot mess there, but here, I really like the looks of this. I think it's really cool. And like I said, and you're not going to be able to make two, even yourself, two exactly alike. But nobody else is going to have that hard embellishment. So I think that it's really cool to use it like that, even just to stretch it out and just glue it onto a page. You don't have to do the double-sided sticky. And that's what I really like using it for, is sticking it behind things in journals or just on pieces of art, because it's just kind of cool to look at. Remove this whole thing since it's so covered with glitter. And then I took some and I painted this one with our wax colors, our liquid wax colors. And I thought that that might make it stiffer. And, in feeling it, it does make it a little bit stiffer, not as stiff as I thought it would. I thought it'd get almost kind of hard. But then you can use that. You can gather it up and turn it into flowers. Cut little petals out of it and make flowers. You can cut squares. Oh, I should have done the sticky part last, because now I've got sticky all over my scissors. And it's going to want to grab. We can just take this like this and cut some squares and make flowers out of them. And they make really pretty flowers too. Well, I guess this is more of a rectangle than a square. But we'll just see. So we'll cut these out, and then we'll fold the petals. But like I said, you can also just do a running stitch along the bottom. Oh, that's really stuck. And then just gather it just like you would with a piece of ribbon or a piece of fabric. But the folded ones are really cool too. And then you just fold them point to point. And just kind of, really there's no, if this was a square, it would be easier, but it's not. So, okay, it's not a square. I'm going to offset it like that so that, excuse me, I'll offset it like that, and then you've got the point of that one sticking out there and the point of that one sticking out there, so you can see all 4 points, and then just kind of pinch it at the bottom. And then I've got the lighter colored ones, and just do those the same way, just like that, and then just pinch it at the bottom, and it just gives you kind of a cool shape. And then you could go from dark color and then light color, and just go all the way around and make a flower. You could cut petals. You can, kind of put them together like that. Now, these don't shred like the cotton is. The cotton does, and that's the one thing I really loved about the cotton was the cotton shreds so nicely. Here's one that I made out of these cotton ones, just in case you do find some of these. And like I said, I got them at a garage sale or at a secondhand store. I wouldn't use them personally, like for, like if I had a cut or something, but they're great to craft with. They were in a package and everything. But see how it just shreds and looks so beautifully fuzzy? And I just put some colored ones in there. You can dye it with whatever you want. Your alcohol inks, your watercolor inks, any of them you can dye it with. And I didn't think to bring my hot glue gun, but again, you can just fold them up with some points sticking out, and then just gather them in the center and glue them all the way around, and then you'll have a nice little flower. These were cut awfully small, but you can shred them up, and they don't shred really well with the wax on them, but they kind of mold a little bit. They feel kind of cool. So, but yeah, this was different than what I had, and so it's not wanting to work like what I had, so I figured we'll just play with it and see what we can do with it. That would be a cute little flower petal like that. So, but, and the way I like to use it the most is along the edge of a page on a tag. I really like this. I'm real happy with that. So I have a tag here that I had made, and I'll take a piece of the skinny one, cut it about the length of that doily. And then I think I'm going to cut it this way also, because I don't want it to be, oh, this is going to be not so easy with all that sticky on my scissors. But yeah, I like to layer it under things, so I don't want it, don't need it to be really wide. And that works out really good, because then you can just get, twice as much for your money, because you're not going to use how wide it is when you're just tucking it under. You might want to tuck something under, something as big as that heart. I'm going to just shred a little bit of that. Kind of give it a little bit of a pull. Give it a stretch. I wanted to see if I stretched it, if it would kind of curl up a little bit. And then you can just put that on your project. Like that, and then find, let's see, I have my flowers here. Maybe put it over a little bit, like this. And then put a picture on top of it, like that. And it's just that nice little added bit of texture, so everything is not flat on your project. Whether you're making an art piece, whether you're making a tag, whether you're making a journal page, it's just nice to have texture, and gauze makes a nice background texture. So you could put it on your jelly plate and try and see if you press paper on there. These are awfully thin holes, so I don't know if it would go through that, but it would color your gauze very nicely. So you can use it on tags, which I really like using it that way. And then we've got the glitter, and you can use it to make flowers. Even though this one is the old cotton gauze, I cut little tiny pieces because I thought I could maybe cut enough to get a whole flower, and I cut those way too small, to make a flower. But, well, I guess I could make a small flower with that. But this wider one, it stretches a little bit nicer. But in this one, when you stretch it, it does curl up, which is really, really cool and great for a project. And you could even use this like this, go all the way around, shred it up nicely, get some nice little flower or floaties on the end, and wind up with something that looks a little bit like this. And again, I just added one little colored piece in 3 spots, and that turned out really nice. But you could take that with all of that texture, and you might not want to put, like, if you're going to put this much texture on it, you may not want to put a flat flower on top, but maybe like, what's over here? Maybe some buttons, or you know, something like that that has some embellishments that are more 3D. But you know, put those on there. You can glue them on, you can sew them on, but they just, you know, it just helps them to stand out and really gives you that texture on your project. So that is what we have for this week. And I think that's kind of, oh, tea dyeing and coffee dyeing. Let's see. Here's a piece that I tea dyed. So compared to the white, it gets a really nice color. The tea dye will look great on this piece here. Look at how nice that looks together. And that is just Distress inks on there, but yet the tea dye goes with it so nicely. And it would go great with tea dyed paper. And then I thought we'd see about, I hadn't coffee dyed any, but I grabbed out our instant coffee that we bought to coffee dye paper. Hopefully my water is still warm enough. Let's just mix that up a little bit. And we'll coffee dye the skinny one. And now with the tea dyed, I think I let it sit about a half an hour in a cup of tea. So this one, we'll see how it dyes up. And I did not rinse it. I just took it out and squeezed it and then let it dry. And the longer you let it sit, the coffee dye, you'll be able to get a darker color to, because you can put more coffee in there. Well, you could put more tea too. But now this is much lighter, but still darker than the white. So, you know, you can get any color that you want to. If you let that sit in there for a while, it will get darker, and just let it get a little bit more stained. So anyways, that is just playing with gauze. You know, like I said, it is just something that I thought would be nice to add to our stash, because it's just really fun to play with, and there you have so many options. These are just a few. I'm sure that when you think about it, you know, you'll be like, oh, I could try this and I could try that, or I could put it here or put it there. I really love it behind flowers and stuff like that. I think it just looks really, really cool to give it some texture. You can use it even to press onto something that has paint or something on it, and then lift it off, and it will leave a texture on your paint. So you can stretch it and get, you know, get really cool looks by doing that. So anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video. It is just a quickie this week, but it was just something that I thought that you might want to build into your stash. So for next week, what we are going to need is, we are going to need a couple of these. I got these at the Dollar Tree. This is an ice cube tray. It's got like a rubbery bottom to push out the ice. And so I got a rectangle one, and I got a round one. Smaller, well, to me, smaller is better. You don't want great, you know, you don't want great big circles, because we're going to make some embellishments, and we'll need our plaster for next week also. So thank you very much for stopping by. So I hope that if you get some gauze and play with it, you have a good time, and, you know, just find all the different beautiful things that you can do with it, because it's really fun to play with. So thanks again for stopping by. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.